Yeah, I saw that shit right there. Yo, 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 you already know we are back in the director's den. You already know how excited I am. You live right now with your boy at I am Eddie Jackson. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. I appreciate all the guys over the last 2 years that's been following the Director's Den podcast. You know, we're trying to get more consistent, man, with our guests, and trying to get more consistent with just the content. And you guys know, man, y'all know me. Y'all know I'm never one to shortchange the audience, man. And you know, I'm just excited to be back. I'm just feeling great, man. I'm fresh off of 6 days out the country, man, and you know, just feeling good in Mexico and all the great places I went, man. And I'm just excited for this one today. You know, if you don't already, man, please go subscribe to the Director's Den podcast. Make sure you subscribe and follow me at I am Eddie Jackson on all platforms. Make sure you shout out the Chop Shop, man. And if you joining this live, man, drop some comments. You hear some gems or anything like that, man, make sure you drop all the comments. Please, we need it. Ask any questions, man. Hopefully we'll be able to get you a good answer. I know y'all excited about this one, though. I know y'all excited about this one. Why? Because I'm excited about this one. You know what I'm saying? So, without further ado, y'all know me. I'm big on introductions. Y'all know Shannon Sharp is one of the guys that I would pay attention to. And introductions mean everything to me, man. So let me go ahead and introduce this young man. Tonight on the Director's Den, we're sitting down with a man whose story doesn't start with success. It starts with survival, faith, and redemption. Want to make sure I say this correctly. Taijonathan Collins is a God-fearing man, a devoted father, a United States Marine Corps veteran, a Black Panther, and a serial entrepreneur. His journey includes one of the most isolating experiences a man can face, being sentenced to 15 years in federal prison on bomb and destructive device charges. He entered the federal system during COVID and was immediately placed in solitary confinement, the whole, for 60 days with no explanation, no timeline, and no human contact. In that silence, stripped of identity and control, the only connection he had was with his Father in heaven, Abba. After years of fighting his case, Taijonathan was released into house arrest only to face homelessness, betrayal, and rejection. Returning to Ohio with his children, he was evicted, denied housing and employment due to his felony status and unpaid by organizations he did serve. Alone in the front seat of his truck, angry, exhausted, and desperate, he cried out to Jesus. In that silence, a voice spoke, and it showed him a way out. Today, Taijonathan Collins stands as a living testimony of faith, accountability, and transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome to the Director's Den, Taijonathan Collins. Hey, my dog.
With me, I don't feel right.
What's going on? Hey.
Eddie for the people, Jackson.
Green light.
Hey.
If I can't bring Jesus with me, I don't bring light.
Hey, why this hit hard though? The bass ain't even kicked in yet. Hold up.
Rockin' pretty colors like a peacock with the most high like a Nissan. Yeah, stepping like a Reebok with that blick on me. I don't need cock. Jesus in the storm, watch me see walk. Sanctify me, turn the heat up. Let me talk to him, cut the beat off. Fall back, let the G shine. Angels with me, that's the D-line. Got the devil scared, put them behind me. Jesus' name buzz like a beehive. Sick of my old self, don't remind me. Can't fall back, no rewind. In this warfare, put your hands up, but no peace signs. Squad jumping time, but it's go time. Bible with me with the green light. If I can't bring Jesus with me, I don't feel right.
Come on, tap in.
That's a gold mine, my Holy Spirit, my cosign is paper. I'm gonna get the witness to my advocate, so my case closed. I also got with my shades low. I see him different, no shade though. I just love him more, so he put me out of that fuego.
We can't give him everything, but that is a heater. Wow, that's a heater, bro. What's going on, Taijonathan? Welcome to the Director's Den, baby.
What's going on with my brother Eddie for the people, Culture Jackson? Man, I was Mexico.
My man, Mexico was lit, dog. Had a great time, man. Had a great time. Celebrated the wife's 40th birthday. Celebrated my 36th birthday, man. So, just growing up, doing more mature things, you know what I'm saying? I'm not really like the escape guy, but my wife is there. She gets me out the country. She knows what I need when I need it, and she knows what she needs as well. So, you know what I'm saying? So it was a great time, bro. Great time, man. How's things been your way, dog?
Blessed, nothing less, man. Like he said in the testimony, man, we went from isolation, prison, my house got tossed into the ocean, to homelessness. But you see, we not doing the interview from the truck. We not getting interviewed from the truck.
Hey, what? Hey, hold up, man. Can I get a horn on that one? Can I get a horn on that one?
He'll do it, bro. He'll do it. And if you think he won't do it, he'll do it.
Yeah, nah, I'm in total believing, man. Just seeing, I've recently just met you not too long ago, man, and just seeing you move around New Birth and just being present, bro, and even just like, sometimes me doing photography, I'm always looking in the crowd to see who I can shoot and get like some good intimate pictures of them worshiping and serving the Lord, man, and worshiping the Lord. And you're always one of those people. And bro be stepping the church though. He be stepping right. Like he be putting it on. He be putting on some gear, bro. And sometimes that's always good for the photographer too. We like to get those that's really putting on.
Come on, man. I'm trying to keep up, man. We got some men of God really standing up in the Lord, putting it on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. I'm in total agreement, man. Total alignment, bro. And I'm excited about your story, man. I've been seeing you do a lot of work with Key and X, man. And shout out to those young creatives, man, out there really helping brothers tell their story, man, and using a gift to just pilot a whole platform, man. So I'm really salute to those dudes, man. Go ahead, give me a horn for my boy Key, my boy X, man. Y'all doing y'all's thing. Man, before we get into everything, man, because there's so much to unpack here, dog. Just go ahead in your own words, man. Introduce yourself and let the people know who you are, bro.
Man, I'm Taijonathan Collins. I'm a Columbus rapper based out of our own hometown here in Reynoldsburg. I left Columbus when I was 17 years old, joined the Marine Corps. I'm well traveled, but above all else, man, I'm a father, I'm a man of God, and I'm an entrepreneur, man. What I've always aimed my focus towards and my primary source of creativity towards is uplifting people. And I found that the most uplifting spirit in the world is the Holy Spirit. So I'm just trying to spread the love of Jesus Christ, empower people through His Word, and God taking the whole city back if He used me. You know what I mean? Next is the world.
Yeah, nah, that's amazing, bro. Just reading your story. I know you sent me some pieces about you, man, and just reading it and just understanding, man. I got a lot of questions myself, you know what I mean, to unpack. You've been through a lot, brother. I thought I've been through a lot, brother. You've been through a lot, dog. And so, I think it's stories like yours, man, and many others, bro, that need to be shared, bro, because I believe that there's release for someone out there, bro, in your story, right? And somebody that can, the younger generation or even somebody our age, man, that can take from what you've been through, man, and start, applying it to their own life, man.
You don't understand, bro, or you do understand, actually, bro, like how many people tell me when I'm ministering to them, oh man, I went too far the left way for God to want me back. I'm like, oh shit, bro. You went the wrong way?
Right.
Nah, I ain't even about to knock your hustle, player, but trust me, can't nothing separate you from the love of God. Trust me.
Yeah.
I tried everything in between. I mean, like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
did everything A through Z and twice for free. And so
yeah,
it's like, I mean, some people need to hear that. Some people need to hear like what you've done. Like it says in God's word, Paul said, I'm the chief sinner. And it's like of all the sinners of the world, I am the worst. And I'm not saying that as as a symbol of pride. I'm saying that as a symbol of redemption, of what
yeah,
God can actually protect you through, see you through, and make a way out of for you. Man,
yeah.
he made a way out of me from the lion's mouth. David got walked into the lion's den. I was in the lion's mouth, and God let me free.
Mm, mm,
Thank God he didn't tell him close it. You know what I mean?
mm.
Again, thank God
Right,
he didn't do me like
right,
David and
right,
say close
right.
it. Wow, look at he said,
Man,
open
feel
your
like you're
mouth.
in the
Let
belly of
him
the
out.
whale.
Now close it. Yeah, real talk, bro. And it's like a lot of people they get in those situations and they feel like there's no way out. God doesn't love me. What's God gonna do for me? And trust me, bro. You'll see in my story. Like
Yeah,
I tried it my way so many times, and I was only able to accomplish so much with my own way, and I wasn't able to accomplish anything close to what God had planned for me. So I want to use my story to inspire surrender, because especially as black men, especially independent black men, our instinct is to figure it out. It's a hard ask to be like, give it to God. When we used to trying to have so much control here and there. So
yeah.
I want to show people
Nah,
that it's okay.
I totally agree, bro, and I love that. I love that. It's like, bro, it's bigger than what I went through. You know what I mean? Like my life is much bigger than the trials and tribulations I had to go through. You know what I mean? I went through those things for somebody else's surrenderance, so that people could see how good Christ looks on me, and somebody that's been through the mud, right? Like, and still to this day, you might look at one of my sleeves, I might still have a little bit of mud on me. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
I'm redeemed. I'm coming back. You know what I mean? And I'm getting better and better every day, man. Before we tap into just the questions in your story, man, I would love to go ahead and just look at some of these videos, man. Like I said, shout out to X and Key, man. They've done an amazing job helping you tell your story, man. And that was one of the things that really like drew me in to really wanting to talk to you, man, because I'm watching, I'm getting these DMs and I'm seeing this stuff on IG, man. And it wasn't even about music. It was just like you walking around your car and bro, like, yeah, I lived here. I'm like, what? Hold up. Pause. Rewind. What did he
Real talk.
say?
Kitchen sink, the whole wardrobe,
Right,
like,
right. You know what I'm
walk-in
saying?
closet under the front seat, like, all
And,
that.
and so many people have that reality that
Yeah.
they have had to go through these moments, right? And so when I seen these videos, man, it just really made me tap in. And before we get into anything else, man, I do want to share that with the audience, man. I think that would be something great for the audience to be able to dive into with us. So let's go ahead and jump into the first one here.
Victory already. You can't like say, oh, it's called sending praise before the battle. You know what I mean? I know God fighting on my behalf, so I give him the praise for the victory before I know him, before I see him make it happen, because I know he will. I was doing God like AAA, bro. God, my tire flat. God, I ran out of gas. But my flat tire was, in jail. My flat tire was I'm homeless. Before I lost my house in California, I actually already had a 4-door truck that I was living in. And I ain't want to just be like, look at me, I'm struggling.
Right.
I'm like, it's horrible, it's what we do it for, and there's a way out. And that's kind of where music became less about me and more about the listener. The whole project is like how I went from like communicating the reality of my situation to like God, like changing what my reality was, so I don't mind communicating the reality of the thing and what happened, bro. I'm like, shoot, bro, if we got lights, cameras, action in the background, that don't mean nothing, bro.
Yo, that's a crazy just testimony in that video, man. I think he touched on so many things. But before the car, before the homelessness, who was DaDawn?
Man, ask the government, he was a menace to society. I'm talking about, man. I was an avid participator in community projects and uplifting people, but I was also doing it my own way, which got my head bumped a million times in a row, and I was
Mm,
hard headed. So it wasn't really until I really got sat down that I have to come face to face with who I was and my mortality. And bro, before the homelessness, before the truck, before the testimony, before God said, I call you to more than this, um, I was just a young cat who knew and was recognizing patterns in society. I was a pattern recognizer. So I was seeing people get depressed and then sold depression, or I was seeing people get addicted, or I was seeing people, or even myself. You know, I was subject to several different like trauma cycles, abuse cycles, substance abuse cycles, and I was just seeing myself go through the motions, and I wanted so desperately to get out of that. I wanted so desperately to get out of that pattern or cyclical way of living. I got so tired of going in circles that I was going to, right, quite literally brute force my way out of poverty. Like I was going to sell whatever I needed to. I was going to take whatever I needed to. I was going to scheme whatever I needed to, just so that I didn't have to live in a circle or at the bottom. And you know what? I ended up getting a lot, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you, Mr. Eddie Jackson. I ended up getting a lot, but I never felt complete though. Like I got a lot of money. I knew a lot of women. I had a lot of cars. I had like a lot of clothes. Like I was having everything that I wanted, but I didn't feel fulfilled. So what I would say is I was a person who was very accomplished. I was a high achiever, and I was trying to fill myself with substances and was still without substance. So I was walking around, moving really quick and really empty, and I didn't know that until I was full. And
What
so,
what
who
what
was
what
Luka
shaped
Don
that?
before the truck?
What
The
shaped that? You know what I
hustle.
mean? Yeah, what shaped the hustle? Because you know, a lot of times you hear from people's story, man, like people start off in church or they're just exposed to it, right? Like my mom, dad, my aunt, uncle, somebody in their family was exposing them to just the hustle game. Like what shaped that mentality? Because it didn't just start with when you needed something; it was something that was already brewing there.
Yeah, man. I watched my mom raise me by herself. And then she did it with my four sisters. Now, I'm not saying that's the right way to be. It made her a very strong woman, and I respect her a lot for it. I don't wish that pain or that life on anybody, but my mom did what she had to do, and so when I conceptualized like love, I always looked at it like sacrificially. Like I'm a do for the ones that I love. You know what I mean? I never
Mm-hmm.
wanted to find myself out of position to do for the ones that I love. So I was running from that. I was like, I'm not about to be the one that my family can't call on. I'm not about to be the one that, the people that I love can't depend on. And I was always raised with that mentality. You got to think, man, this is a single mother in the late 90s. You know what I mean? She's got a
Mm-hmm.
business. She's working multiple jobs. I remember she used to tell me a story all the time about how I was a toddler at work with her. She would take me to Walmart with her to go to work. She would take me to
Mm-hmm.
Burger King to go to work with her, and I would be in a stroller while she's actually working. And so this is how we live, bro. Like we saw her doing nails in our living room, get changed, go to work. I mean, she really sacrificed who she was to provide for us, and so I wanted to provide something for her, and I lived my whole life, what I mean, running from instability. And so that's what kind of like put like the hustler's mentality on the inside of me. Like I was always a hard worker who wanted more than what my circumstance was, because one thing that my mom could see through the hustle was the vision. She had a vision. She was working hard, but she had more to her journey than just the circumstance. So I would say like being raised with my mom working super hard, and we still living beneath our means.
Yeah.
Like we still not really seeing. I'm seeing the hours, but I'm not seeing the results of the hours except the roof over our head. And so I'm just like, man, like you could really work so hard and still not see a change in your circumstance. And so I was outrunning that. I was outrunning that. I was like, man, I'm not going back I'm not going back to poverty. I'm not going back to broke ever. You know, what I mean, my mom did the best that she could. God bless her. I wanted to do something more for myself, and then hopefully, as a result, you more for my family too.
Talking about family, man, how does being a father guide the way you move today based on how you move, back in the day?
But I had no patience. Like I'm talking about zero. I was talking about because you gotta think, bro. I'm coming from a background where I'm like, I'll do it myself.
Yeah,
Like I'm really coming from a background like you don't know how to read that Bible. I'll read it myself. Like,
yeah,
like you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
you don't know
yeah.
how to sweep this floor. I'll sweep it myself. Like you don't know how to fix this fence. I'll fix it myself. I'm coming from that type of mentality, and so like I had no patience, bro. Like I had zero patience at all for anything. And I
Hmm.
mean, I'm talking about you don't want to cook my dinner, I'll cook it myself. Like I had zero patience for anything because at the end of the day, my mentality was I can do it myself. And that took me so long. It fueled my ambition. It fueled my ambition.
Hmm.
But there's one thing that parenting allows you to do that yourself can't allow you to do, which is if I looked at my kids and been like, you don't want to learn your colors, I'll learn them for you. Like you can't. That don't work.
Right,
You know what I mean? You can't
right,
learn
right.
colors
Now
and
that's a
numbers
fact.
for your children. You know what
Right.
I mean? You can't make them do it faster. You can show them the information more often, but you can't make them do it faster, and you can't do it yourself. They have to comprehend the information. So my children showed me how to take a step back, learn from the outside, be patient when it comes to results, not be forceful, but be present. My
Hmm.
kids taught me lessons that I didn't even think I need to learn. And when I started walking this thing out with God, I was like, oh my God, you're such a good parent. You're such a
Right,
good
right. I should have been
parent.
beat.
I should have been smited. I should have been smited. And I'm looking at my kids like, I should smite you. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
God, like,
right,
I never smited you. And I'm like,
right,
dang. But they
right.
just put
God
my
is
phone
good.
in the toilet. Like, and you
Right,
just, man, you don't even know how you tearing my world up. You don't even know what
right,
you was doing.
right.
How what you was doing in the physical was affecting things in the spiritual.
Mm,
So I was just like,
mm.
you like, and I never once even
That's
thought
good.
of smiting you. I never whooped you. I never smited you. I never scolded you. I never stopped loving you. I corrected you, but I was patient with you. I waited 24 years for you. And I was just like, man, it enhanced my walk. It enhanced the perspective that I have when it comes to how God views me and His love for me.
Hmm.
Because one thing that I've been recently talking about is just loving God's no. Everybody want to live for
Mm.
Christ and love God, and then God be like, no, and they be like, there ain't no God. Can't
Hmm.
be. Can't be a guy.
Hmm.
I was talking about I can't have my house when I want to. I can't have the job that I want to when I want to. And it's like, and then they start to lose faith because God's not moving how they would move. But if God gave you everything you wanted in your lowest moments, some of us wouldn't even have survived that. You know what I mean? I've been in moments where I was like, bro, I just want to die. Like I don't want to live anymore. If God
Mm.
would have gave me exactly what I wanted in that moment, I wouldn't even be here today.
Right.
So, sometimes you gotta love God's no because it allows his yes to manifest in its appropriate time. And so I mean, having kids just show me patience, a secondhand approach, allowing my kids to learn on their own. Ask my mom, bro. I was the one who had to touch the stove on my own. I'm like, it's hot. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I had to
Go ahead,
find
burn
out. I
yourself.
had to, I had to find out. You know what I mean? Every time, bro. Every time I had to burn myself every time. So it just showed me how to step back, let them learn lessons on their own, and it gave me ultimately one of my most appreciated lessons was my lesson in patience. My God,
Mm,
I did not know that I needed patience until I had kids.
mm. And that's one of those things too that, man, they say watch what you ask for because that's gonna be the main thing you get tested on. So a lot of people want patience, but a lot of people will not verbally sow that seed because they don't want to be tested with it. You get what I'm saying? And that's me too. You know what I mean? Like I've had times where I'm like, man, Lord, I know what I need to work on, but I'm not about to say it out loud because then you gonna start throwing everything my way. You know what I'm saying?
Come on. Come
But
on.
I mean, I think patience. Kids definitely help you with patience. I got two boys myself, man, and you know, certain stuff they do, you just be like, they just kids. And then you
Ain't no
really
way.
do have to put yourself in a kid perspective when it comes down to you and your father, right? You're not just your physical father here on earth, but your heavenly father, the father above all fathers. And so, you know, to be able to correlate those two, that's amazing, man. I would love to just talk about the silence piece, man, because I know you sat down for some time, and you was incarcerated. You say you did 60 days, was 60 or 90 days in the hole, man. Complete isolation. Just
Yeah, man.
switching and gearing over to that. What does extended silence do to a man's mind and spirit?
So it depends largely on the man. You got to think, bro. I was escaping poverty, so I had built like a nest of things. And I remember my baby mom looked at me one day and was like, "You think this stuff gives you value?" And I thought she was hating on me. I told her she was a hater. I told her she was a hater. Like she saw me get more money, get more attention, more friends, going on trips, and she was
Mm-hmm.
like, "You think?" And this is before she actually had my kids. Like this is
Yeah.
like she was seeing me get all this stuff, and I was like, I was standing on it. I was standing on a fast car, on the clothes and the money and the people who was around me. And she was like, she hit me with a crazy sentence. She was like, "This stuff gives you value." I'm like, "You hating, you hating, you hating." And she like, "No, there's value in you besides the stuff. All of this stuff is coming from what's in you already, and you're looking for identity in the stuff.
Mm.
Like you're decreasing who you are,
Come on, Queen. Come on, Queen.
bro." Come on, bro. You know what I mean? So I gotta give her a props to that. She cut me deep with that, but I needed to hear that
Mm-hmm.
because when I went in there and I went in that hole, there was no Gucci slides. Let me just let y'all know. If you go to prison looking for Gucci slides, there aren't any.
Mm-hmm.
They're sold out. You know, there's no hot water, there's no back rubs, there's no dinner. You know what I mean? Like all of this stuff that comes with like the comfortable lifestyle and the money, you
Mm-hmm.
get stripped of it all. And I have my hard work and I have my solid, but you really get to see who you are under pressure and in isolation. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's like emotions are like water in a
Mm-hmm.
pipe. You know, they're gonna flow. For the most part, they contain. Ever so often, you get a
Mm-hmm.
leak. With pressure will make them pipes burst, and who you
Mm-hmm.
are spill all over the place. And
Mm.
if you don't check what's in your cup, your loved one's gonna get hit by what's in you. So you gotta monitor what's on the inside of you. And so I was starting to see what was on the inside of me when I was in that space. And the
Mm.
first 5 days, I was like, "Oh no, ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way. Like, there's no way I'm up to like this is a joke." I was trying to I went through the 5 stages of grief. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I went through the 5 stages of grief in those moments, because like, yeah,
There we go. There we go. You
okay,
tapped in. All
prayer, prayer
right.
alarm. Uh,
The Lord better not interrupt this interview. Come on, Lord. You know he
come
dropping
on.
gems.
But I'm talking about. I put everything on D, and God was like, "But you gonna make time for me." So thank you, God. Thank
Hey, we prayed.
you.
We did pray before the interview, Lord.
Amen. We did. We handled that. So,
Nah,
bro,
dope,
I'm talking
dope.
about, I went through the 5 stages of grief while I was in the first 5 days of solitary. I had no idea what was going on. I was trying to rationalize my situation, and like I went to God within the first 5 days, but He knew I was capping. I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. I was trying to do God like AAA for the first time. I was like, "Look, God, look. I know we ain't been talking. Let me go.
Right.
I'm gonna get on the straight and narrow." And he's like, "You're lying. You're lying."
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
"All right." He's like, "Cause you ain't even been put in a position where you need me yet. So
Yeah.
I know as soon as you get out of this situation, you go back to doing you. So you don't even know what depending on me really feels like. But I'm gonna show you. And so after like the second week, probably like 14 days in, bro, we're doing like push-ups every day. It's like at first it was pure hell, and then I came to terms with the hell. And so I started praying on a daily basis, and I hadn't even known how to pray yet. Cause you gotta think, bro, when I was coming up, I was raised in the church. I watched my mom, I watched my grandma. My grandma was a deacon, so I watched her be super invested into the faith. And I'm talking about she was cash, but that's what I saw. You gotta think, bro. Like I'm seeing it from like the uneducated perspective. I don't know what
Yeah.
this means to her. I just see grandma living where she living at and cashing out for the church. And so I'm like, this ain't right. Like in my instinct was this ain't right. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
so I had kind of strayed away for the longest time. So I haven't prayed in the longest time. I haven't even tried to talk to God for the longest time. Because I'm like, this is a business plan. Like, there's no real power in this. Not seeing how his hand was on my life through every situation. Like now, with him, I can see how his hand was on my life through everything that I ever went through. But in that moment right there, I'm coming from my own way of living. So I'm not prayer. I'm not churched. I don't know how to talk God. I don't know how to talk to God. And so I'm in that situation like first time in a long time. Like, uh, yo, what up, GODOG? Um, I learned my lesson. Let me out, please. Amen. Type of conversation. Like,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and, and so after my third week in there, and I was just like, all right, so I'm not getting let up out of here. A deep appreciation for the small things came over me. Like what I heard, like word became bond. I didn't want people speaking like negativity into my life. I wanted to have like a firm control over my atmosphere in regards to my health. I was doing 500 push-ups a day. I was waking up at 5 a.m. I was watching birds fly past my window and the sun rise. I never saw the sun directly, but I saw it rise in the reflection of a building, and I started to count on those things and really love those things. And so what I'll say is, man, that cultivated a deep appreciation on the inside of me for the small things in life. Because here I am with all these things, and I don't care about nothing. Now I have nothing, and even the littlest thing means everything to me. So
Yeah.
before God could fulfill his promise, he had to restructure my gratitude. I'm seeing this like now. I'm seeing this now, but in the moment, it's just happening to me.
Yeah.
Like I'm not knowing that he's fulfilling those promises to me in the moment and making.
It looked like you muted yourself. You muted yourself. Let's see. I'm gonna let you go ahead and get your audio fixed and just jump back in when you can. We can pick up where we left off at. Yo, man, this is a great interview, man. I think having uh, Ty on here. I'm just calling him Ty because I keep messing it up. Having Ty on the show, man, it's just like do y'all not deeply connect with bro? You know what I mean? Like we heard a little bit about the story. You know that he's homeless, and you know that he was pulled away, he was gone, he was incarcerated, he spent time in the hole, man. Like to have all this stuff happen to you and to be that disconnected from the physical world to where you then I mean, really, I've never been that disconnected from the physical world because I've never been incarcerated or never been in a jail. But imagine having to be like literally stripped away from everything that you know. And I think that to me speaks a lot of volumes, man. Um, and just just seeing his life change around and seeing the person that he is today, man. While Ty is getting that together, man, I want to shout out a couple places, man. If you need a church home, you need a place to grow spiritually, man. New Birth Christian Ministries has an amazing worship service, man. They got two services, 9 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. Uh, New Birth Christian Ministries, 3475 Refugee Road, Columbus, Ohio, every Sunday, man. So feel free to pull up and tap in with us, man. We're having a great time. We're gonna tap back in with Ty, and okay, in a minute here, we're gonna tap back in with Ty and let him finish the rest of the story, man. But I'm eager to see, what questions, what things you guys have for Ty, man. Just this far, man. I think that it's amazing to see, like I said, where he's came from. And man, we got much more to dive into. It looked like Ty is back, so let me go ahead and see if we can get him back on the line here. My
Yo,
dog, my dog, he back. He got a whole
had
new
to put the
headset
trucker
on.
headset on. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Niner,
hey,
niner.
hey, bro, listen, that's got the crazy voice isolation in it too. All right,
You feel me?
all right,
Yeah,
man.
man.
But you were talking about how what that did to your mind and spirit, man. And I it's crazy because it sounds like one thing you said that stuck out to me was I had to come to terms with the hell I was in. Like, I
Yeah,
think a lot of people like that's like that first seed of transformation. You know what I mean? That's that
yeah.
first seed to move into the right direction. You have to accept and have humility in what you have done, right? And accept, like, okay, I put myself here. I was talking to
Yeah.
my boy earlier, and we were, Eddie Murphy got his new Netflix series called Being Eddie, and he was talking about on there. Somebody had called him vain, vain and something. I don't want to misquote it, but go see it. He was reading something somebody said about him, and he agreed. And he said, I would never
Right.
have my hand in my own destruction, right? Like, meaning he
Yeah.
never smoked, he never drank, he never, like, even when he was around like-minded guys and guys that were just on the same upper echelon as him doing cocaine and all types of stuff, he never wanted to play a hand in his own destruction. And really made me think,
Come on.
like, yo, like, to even admit that I'm playing a part in my own destruction, that's where it starts.
Yes.
That's where the transformation starts, and that's where that seed really can now get planted. And it sounded like, man, when you was in there, like you said, first 5 days, you like, all right, Lord, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, you know what I mean? But then it's like, you in there longer, and it's like there has to be this deep realization that comes over yourself that says, nah, God didn't have this for me. God didn't want me to be here, but I planned a place. I played a big part in me being here. And now that I'm here, God has me exactly where he needs me to be because all I can do is listen. Am I correct?
Yeah, bro, you're absolutely 100% correct. And another part of that is accepting that if God has you here, you're meant to be here. So he could have never let me go. I had reached a point in my accepting of his way that I was like, God, if this is what you have for me, if this is the moment that you have for me, I accept it. They don't have to let me out of isolation. If this is where you want me to be right now, I
Mm,
trust your plan above my plan. I like
mm,
how I feel right now. I didn't like, being, in captivity, but I liked the connection that I was experiencing with God and the world around me. And it was my first time sober, and I don't even know how long. I used to smoke, drink, all of that every single day. I was just trying anything, any substance that I could fill myself with. I was looking for that. And bro, I hadn't been sober in the longest time, so I appreciated the clarity, the gratitude, and the connection that I was experiencing in those moments, even though they were being experienced in the worst possible circumstance. So, God will give you beauty for ashes for sure. And in that moment, I was getting beauty for my ashes in a situation that I was looking at. This is the worst thing happening to me. He actually turned around for my good. And I was like, okay, well, God, I appreciate what you're trying to show me. This is really cool. You know, what I mean,
Yeah.
I get to see me sober. I got to,
Yeah.
have an
Yeah.
experience with you. And like 15 days later, they let me out of the hole. And I start walking out and I'm about to get my shower on. I'm about to call out. I'm about to sweet talk my girl. I'm about to I'm about to do my thing and have my way in here. And then a gang leader gets stabbed in the neck and they have to lock the whole prison down. So what do? They turn me back around and march me back into my hole.
Mm.
So I went 30 days and I'm like, I can do it. I can do it. Like, if God, you got me here, I found a way to
To get through it.
accept it
Yeah.
and get through it. And then I knew, eventually I was gonna get out. But when they shut the prison down and they locked me back in the hole,
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea when that was going to end.
Mm.
I had no idea when that was going to be over. And so it rocked me. It was like, okay, over this course of 30 days, you done built all this trust in me.
Yeah.
You done said you accept the situation that I got you in. You said that you believe in my way over your way. Well, now we about to put that to the test outside of a controlled environment because with
Mm.
this situation, you know how long you're going to be here. You know that this is going to end within a couple weeks. They already gave you a date, so you know you're going to be in here for 30 days. You know when you're nearing the end of 30 days. So it's easy for you to say, I accept this and I can make a way to get through this.
Yeah.
But what happens when I put you in a situation that you can't accept? You don't know when it's going to be over and you don't know how to get through it. And so you marched me back into the hole and I had no idea when that was going to be over. And at first it rocked me. It rocked my whole confidence. It rocked my whole outlook. I was upset. And one thing it didn't do was take me off of what God had put on the inside of me already.
Mm.
I was still doing my push-ups. Only request that I had was that I wanted to know more about the God that I was talking to.
Mm.
And so I was like, let me get a Bible. If y'all gonna put me back in this hole for another whatever period of time, if you're gonna put me back in this hole in the ground, let me get at least a Bible. So they waited a week and then they brought me a Bible and I opened up the book of Matthew for the first time on my own in my entire life.
Mm.
And,
That's
and
dope.
so and
That's
so
dope,
that
man.
that type of that type of isolation, man, it'll put things in you that you didn't know were in you, and it'll expose things in you that you didn't know were in you. For what it did for me was it gave me gratitude that was necessary for God to fulfill His promise, and it established a baseline for peace. Now,
Mm.
now anything can go any which way. It's still not a hole in the ground for 60 days.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you know what I mean. You can. I'm talking about, man. I could, you know what I mean. The car, the job, all of this. God done carried me through violent environments and 60 days in a hole in the ground. I'm talking about, brothers, not get that bad. So he
Yeah.
established a baseline for peace for my spirit. I didn't need external because prior, bro, you got to think I needed all of this external in order to feel complete or comfortable. I needed all of these external influences to feel identity, complete, comfortable, fulfilled, like I was having fun. Now I didn't need anything but my God, my two birds, and the sun to rise,
Mm.
and I could be happy.
No,
So
I
he
think that's
established a.
dope. How you said just the appreciation of the sun rising through a mirrored image on a
It didn't even
building.
hit me directly. It didn't even hit me direct. I didn't even feel the
Like
warmth. I just
that's
saw the light.
crazy. That's appreciation, man. Before we slide into to the transition to just some of your turning points, man. I wanna run back a couple videos that you did, man, and just talking about it, and then we'll pivot right into it.
Got me from
Yeah, man. Go
California to the A to the O. I put a plastic bag and some cardboard right over this window to kind of like muffle the sound so that I could like dampen my studio. So I could, you know what I mean, soundproof my booth. I mean, this was the kitchen, the house, and the booth. Even though it was a bad situation, you still gotta find beauty in it, bro. So I would park at like beaches. I would park at like, in mountain areas, ranges, bro. Go to the store early as soon as it opened, go grab a chicken breast, some eggs, and make breakfast right here in the trunk while I was on my way. How I eventually even became homeless was because I was supposed to move into my cousin's house, and I was paying her money to move in and sublease her apartment because I just got done fighting this case. I remember one day I came home from work and the police was at the door, and they like, we got an order to vacate the premises. Not you got 3 days to get out or you got 30 days to get out. The eviction was already processed and approved. Me and Mines get back in the truck and head to mom's house, and I ain't seen mom's in like no job, no place to go. And once again, I was calling God like AAA. Like, my tire flat. My tire's flat again, and I don't know how to fix it. And so I was just in there. I was in my truck and I was crying because I knew what I could do to get out of my situation. But it felt like going back to what I knew and risking not being with my kids would have compromised all of the growth that I had accomplished in between letting that go and being where I'm at. And so I was like, God, if I'm not gonna go back, you gotta make a way. So I was crying, I reached out, and I was like, God, just please help me. If there's any way forward in this situation, please just help me.
It's crazy, man. There's a lot to unpack there, man. So you eventually get out of jail, and now you got this taste of freedom. But like, it's like soon as you get the freedom, you're faced with eviction, you're faced with rejection, you're faced with just unpaid work. How did that hit you, and how did that really affect even the growth that you had coming out of prison?
Man, I'll tell you the truth, bro. Prison was one of the most transformative moments in my life. Like, I got some key, I got some key moments in my life, like moving out of mom's house as a teenager, going to the military, living on the streets, making my own empire, going to prison. That was one of those transformative key moments right there. I remember I was fighting my case, and the public defender that they assigned to me told me that his dog ate my discovery.
Dang,
I was
what?
like, oh,
What?
y'all playing in my face. You gotta think,
What?
bro. You gotta think I just got out the hole and hit the floor with 50 people. So it's like I haven't even been properly acclimated to human beings in such a long time. So it's like I'm like really moving on my own accord. I really want things to, what I mean, stay structured and peaceful, but it's like a bunch of motion happening around me. So I'm trying to acclimate to my new environment. They take me from one cell to gym pop and put me in an interview room with my public defender. It's the first time I met dude in like 3 months. I'm like, all right, what they got me in here for? Tell me what they got me in there for. I'm like, all right, let me see the evidence they got on me. You gotta think, bro. I'm coming from a political background, bro. I marched with Brother War under the Black Panther Party, so I know my rights. I want to see the evidence. I want to see what I'm here for, and I want to see what kind of evidence I'm working with. And so I'm like, let me get the discovery. He's like, oh, I was going to bring it, but my dog ate it. And I was like, oh, y'all playing in my face.
That's
Y'all playing,
crazy.
y'all, y'all playing in my face. So I told him, I was like, that's all right, bro. I'm going to just report you to the Bar Association. And he told me, he was like, oh, I know, because you're a vindictive and evil person. You're a hateful person. So, of course, you would want to get revenge on me. And I
Mm,
look at him, and I look at the camera in the room, and I'm like, oh, you working with the DA. You trying to see if you can get an explosive reaction out of me
mm,
so that you can actually hit me with something in
mm-hmm,
here because y'all can't hit me with nothing. So I'm like,
mm-hmm.
nah, I get what you're saying, bro, but I got no further words for you, man. Just go ahead, bring me my discovery when you can. I'm gonna be requesting a new attorney. And so he started tweaking on me, insulting me more, calling me unintelligent, trying to get any reaction out of me. Uh, and then he just sent me back to my cell. I don't see another attorney for another 3 months. They just got me sitting, waiting. And so like a lot of that moment was just, combat, growth, change, deliberation. But ultimately it was God's hand on my life, protecting me. And I remember one day I was just like, I can't take this anymore, God. Like, I need you to help me out of this situation because
Mm.
they got me in the lion's mouth. I just got done being in Iraq, Kuwait, Bahrain. I just got done fighting for this country. Now I'm fighting this country for my freedom. I'm in the lion's mouth. Like, God, I need you to help me find a way out of the lion's mouth, and I'll do whatever you say.
Mhm.
And he let me out, bro. He let me out after a year. He was like, go home. And so when I got out, they gave me probation and house arrest. I had to go figure out, a job.
Mhm.
I'm working as a chef at this yacht club, and then I'm working with one of my other homies, who I used to work with, but prior to going to prison in a nonprofit space, teaching like financial literacy to the youth, because that's one thing
Mhm.
I've always been is an entrepreneur. I knew how to get the money. I knew how to structure the entities. I just wasn't applying myself in legal fashion, and so I was passing on brand development to the youth and confidence and things of that nature. I was just finding ways that I could work within my community, not only to fulfill my community service obligations, but also to do my part in repairing the community that I had destroyed for so long. And
Yeah.
I remember that I was just kind of like living in that space where I'm working and I'm on the straight and narrow, and you know my um my woman at the time, she gets pregnant with twins, and it was just crazy, man. I mean, we're living in a 5-person like house. Like this is a California slum, bro. So it's like we got roommates in a 4-bedroom house. We got like 5 roommates in a 4-bedroom house. You know what I mean? Trying to
Mhm.
make a way off of my check because she's pregnant at the time, so she was working during her entire pregnancy, but afterwards, like, she didn't work at all. And so it was like we're just trying to make a way in California. We paying like 1,500 for this
Mhm.
one room in this 4-bedroom house with 5 other people, and it was just getting to a point where it was just ridiculous, man. And I remember the babies got born. We did that for a while. Um, and I remember when she was about to have my kids, there was this dude that I was working for, and I was like, man, like, she's at 6 centimeters. I don't
Mhm.
know like the pregnancy term, but
Yeah.
she's at
Yeah.
six
Yeah. Yeah.
centimeters.
She dilated six
But
centimeters. Yep.
she's dilated 6 centimeters, but the babies aren't ready to come yet. So like they got her in the hospital, and so I'm like, bro, I gotta go be with my family. This dude, my boss at the time, he looking at me like, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you really care about your family, you'll stay and work because you know you need the money.
Mm.
And I was like,
Mm.
you don't know nothing about me, bro.
Right.
Like, you don't know that. You don't know nothing about me, bro. You don't know nothing. And it hurt me, bro. It hurt me, but it upset me. And I was just like, no, bro, I don't. Like, I don't. I'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Before I take anything like that. And I told myself that I wasn't going to work for anybody else, bro. After being treated like that, I wasn't going to work for anybody else. And I didn't walk away from that job, but I definitely took my vacation despite what he was telling me. I took my vacation anyway. I took my leave and I stayed with my family. After my twins were born, they turned like a couple months old. They got like 6, 7 months old. And our auntie was about to pass in Atlanta, and we dealing with people in the house. This one of our roommates bringing these random dudes through, and one of the dudes she brought over trying to argue on her behalf because she leaving hair in the sink. Something like small, but dude trying to stand up for her. And I got my kids in the house, so I gotta check dude like, hey, bro, don't take it
Mhm.
there over a woman you just met, bro, because I promise you it's not gonna go the way that you want to go. And it's just like a toxic environment that my kids was like low key getting brought up in, and I started to see that, and I was just like, man, like I gotta do something better with this situation. And so my old way of living, because I'm not used to living at this level, bro. Like, you gotta think, like I'm coming from thousands and thousands of dollars a
Mhm.
day to $20 an hour.
Mm.
And it's just like, I'm just like, man, I can't believe this is like the standard that I'm raising my kids in, but this is what I got to accept for myself, uh, you know, in order to forsake what was.
Yeah.
And so I check, bro. And send him on his way, remind him of his position in this woman's life and that we know her business more than he knows her business. So you might want to,
Right.
check who he stands up for in those moments. And I just started to realize like this ain't even about like them. This is a spirit at work in the atmosphere. So uh our aunt about to pass in Atlanta, I'm like, God, look, I don't want to drive all the way. I can't fly my babies across this country. They too little to get on a plane. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
fly my babies. I can't fly my babies across this country, and I don't want to drive them across the country just to turn around and come back to San Diego and struggle. So, is this really where you want me at? Like, is this really where you want me to be at? And what ended up happening was, um, I remember my house that I was living in at the time got sucked into the ocean. Like the biggest
What?
recorded flood in San Diego history, bro. Three
What?
days later, bro. 3 days later, the biggest recorded flood in San Diego history rose up and knocked the whole quarter of the house off.
What?
And it was specifically my
Golly.
bedroom, bro. Specifically my I'm like, bro, you could have said that. You could have like wrote that down somewhere or had some homeless man tell me, or you could have gave me a sign. I would have listened to
That
you.
is
You know what I mean?
hilarious.
He was like, bro, I had to take you to federal prison for you to listen to me. You think I'm about to give you any little signs? You don't listen to advice. You
Right.
you need billboards, not signs. And so and
Hey, what's
so
that? What's that
the
one movie? What's that? Bruce Almighty when he's like, "Lord, give me a sign," and the truck in front of him says, "Go right, go right, go right." He's like, "I need a sign, Lord."
bro, how I was living, literally how I was living, man. I feel so ashamed to say, but I'm talking about the water hit everything in that section of the house got completely flooded and nearly destroyed. So I had to buy a trailer that was twice the size of my truck because I mean, bro, I only saved up a couple thousand with the money that I
Yeah.
was making between the money that I was making and like like you know what I mean, paying rent out there. So it's like I only saved up a couple bands, and so I spend like a couple dollars, um, you know, on the trailer. I repair the trailer, load up this trailer that's twice the size of the truck that's carrying it,
Mm-hmm.
and with my entire life and family.
Mm.
And we get in the truck and I'm like, good enough for me, Lord. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good enough
Yeah.
sign as any. We
Yeah.
leaving. So we drive across the country to Atlanta. And I'm talking about, man, we must have got to like, I don't even know, man. Call it the end of Texas and we get the call she already passed.
Mm.
And I'm like, oh man, all this work for her to just not even meet the babies anyway.
Mm.
And so we pull up to Atlanta. We stay for the funeral, for the service. We stay for a couple days just to get our rest on. You know, I realize these babies are still small. They've been in the car for like 3 days now. You know, they getting
Mm-hmm.
changed at every rest stop. We stretching their legs out, walking them around, but it's like we still all sleeping in the truck together.
Mm.
You know, while we push across the country to Atlanta. And I remember, bro, I remember driving on the open road on the interstate, and the trailer was so big it was heavier than the truck. So every time the wind blew, I'm talking about we would shake like the
Oh man,
whole thing.
that's
We would
crazy.
sway. We would sway and almost. And I remember a couple times we almost tipped, bro. You could feel us lifting, and I'm just like, God, just get my family where we going, God. Just get my family where we going. And I don't even
Yeah.
know where we going because we can't
Yeah.
go back,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we don't
That's
have a
that's
next
underwater.
destination.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
in the Red Sea. God done collapsed the ocean on the way back. And so, and I don't know what's ahead. I don't know what's after Atlanta. I don't even have a next step yet. So while I'm on the road, I'm communicating with my cousin. She like, I got a place for y'all to stay. If you want to sublease it out from me, just hand me the money. Y'all can move in here. So we get to Atlanta, and I'm like, all right, I already got my next stop facilitated. You know, I already sent the money order off. You know, it's $800 for us to sublease the apartment in Columbus, and so already facilitated a place for my family to live. And so we get through Atlanta, we get through that moment, and we start driving to Ohio. Bro, tell me why we get to Cincinnati. We get to Cincinnati. 30 or 40 minutes into Cincinnati, the trailer tire bursts.
Mm,
We almost there and the trailer tire bursts. And
that's crazy.
all I can think is, bro, imagine if this happened in Texas.
Mm.
Bro, imagine if this would have
Man, at
happened
least
in
you're an hour and a
anywhere.
half away from your destination.
I'm like, bro, I'm like, because like most people are gonna be like, bro, what the heck? Blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah. I'm
yeah,
upset. I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God that we didn't get stranded in Texas. You carried me. Because I found out what it was, man. It was like a piece of rebar was stuck in the tire. So I'm like,
mm,
bro, a piece of rebar was stuck in the tire for 15 states
that's crazy.
and God carried me?
Yeah,
My God, bro. So I'm sitting here like, oh yeah, we might as well just knock this out.
right.
So we pull up to a Firestone, fill the tire back up with air, do a little mini patch job on it, keep pushing to Ohio. We get to the apartment, we unload all of the stuff. I already started reaching out to these people with a security job, and I reached out to this high school, letting them know like at first I was doing security at the high school, and what I would do was I would do the security job at the high school from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and then from 4 a.m. From like 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. I would go work security at a nightclub.
Mm,
So 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. I would do security at this high school, and then from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. I would work security at a nightclub. So for 16 hours a day, I'm at work. You know what I mean? Just trying to
mm-hmm.
provide because it's all under the table. It's
Right.
all under the table money. So I need as much of it as possible so that I can hand it to my cousin
Yeah.
so that I can pay the rent. And so I do that for like 30 days, bro. I did that for like 30 days. We were straight. It finally felt stable. It finally felt like we could just, like it finally
Mm,
felt like we had something in our hands that we could hold on to. And I remember I was working at that high school, and some of the students would actually walk up to me for like mentorship and counseling. So it's like I'll relate to them. They don't know my story, but they feel like nobody understand them. And I'm
yeah.
like, bro,
Yeah.
what? Like what, bro? Like I
Mm-hmm.
understand you, bro.
Right.
I was just you for 10 years. I get
Mm-hmm.
it. Like, so I completely get it, bro. I would try to give them advice on like how to better steward their situations and just talk to them about what I knew. I wouldn't talk to them about what I don't know because like I feel like people who talk to you about what they don't know just trying to look smart. I don't care about looking smart. I wanted to like edify their situation, and
Mm-hmm.
and what ended up happening was they ain't have many people to speak life into them, and so they really started to gravitate towards me. And the school started to notice that I had an impact on those kids. And so they asked me to teach them something. And so I taught them what I knew. I knew finances. So I taught them credit building. I got a little credit building game for them put together. And I had them all
Mm-hmm.
sit down in the classroom. And then like superintendents, principals walking up to me like that's the first time we ever seen them sit down in a classroom. I was like, oh, that's because what I'm telling them is applicable to their life right now. Like they don't feel anything else is being like edifying towards what they're experiencing right
Mm-hmm.
now. So of course they're gonna listen if they feel like it's edifying towards their right now. And they're like, how would you like to do this full time? And so I'm like, this is it. Like I'm
Right.
like,
Right.
I want
We didn't came
60,000.
full circle. We didn't came full circle.
I was like, this is it. I want $60,000, nothing less.
Right.
And they like, we'll give you 50. I'm like, even better. Yeah, I mean, I would love
I'll
that. That
settle
sounds
at
great.
50. What did Easy say when he slipped? He said, I'm taking you to court for $100 million, but I'll settle out of court right now for $10.
Come on. And so I was like, yeah, man, I'll settle out of court for 50,000. Yes, let's do it. So I signed the paperwork. And I keep going to work.
Hmm.
Now I done omitted the security job at the school for a full-time volunteer teaching position. So I teach the
Hmm.
whole summer. I teach the whole summer. Volunteer though. Cause I'm like putting all my cards on this. So I'm like, don't, I'm like trying to explain it to my baby mom. I'm like, look, look, I'm gonna work for free. But at the end of the summer, I'm on staff for 50K. So it's good. And she's like, that, yeah, okay. I can see how you're putting that together. And I'm like, all right, bet. So I keep doing that. But I keep going to work at the nightclub from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. So I still got money in my pocket. Man, I finished the volunteer program. The CFO come down telling me that they don't want to offer me a full-time teaching position at the school because I got neck tattoos. And so that's what it ended up coming down to is I got some roses on my neck, and they didn't want that to spread a bad influence to the children or something like that. They gave me a real vague answer in that regard, but it was in relation to my tattoos, and I was just
Yeah.
like, I just took the L. That same night, I was supposed to get paid by the security company, but they didn't pay me. So I'm like, what's going on here? I start texting the owner. I'm like, bro, where's my money at, bro? You know, I got a family to feed. Like, you owe me like 2 bands right now. Like, what's the deal? He don't hit me back. So I just go to work. And the next day I just go to work. And the next day I go to work and he still ain't hit me back. And I'm like, bro, like, I'm supposed to be getting paid
Right. Where's my
every
money
night.
at? Yeah.
I'm supposed to be getting paid every night. So I show up to the job. He like, man, ain't nobody seen him in days. Everybody looking for money. And I'm like, bro, y'all like playing in my face right now. So I'm like, bro, don't you know? I'm like, nah, y'all don't know. But y'all
Right.
could. Do y'all want to find out? Like, I'm
Hey,
like, do you want to?
why is that the first thing we go to? Like, bro, do you know who I am? Like, but like we done made this whole transformation in
Come
life,
on.
and it's like, bro, like, do I know who I am right now? Because I feel like I'm Jekyll and
Man, I'm Jekyll and Mr. Hyden right now. I'm about to
right.
Incredible Hulk. I'm about to transform again. I'm about to turn green on them. And so I'm like, oh man, oh man, I'm trying to walk in this newness that you have for me, Lord. But like they playing with me. Like I
Yeah.
feel like they playing with me, Lord. Like, dude, come on, like let's like
So
Sodom and
so
Gomorrah or something for me.
so did you ever get your money?
No, bro, I had to chalk that up as a loss. I never even saw bro again, and I had to let
Mm.
go of wanting revenge, and I had to let go of that money. You know what I mean? And you know what?
Mhm.
Now that I think about it, if I saw him today, bro, that little 2 bands that he ran off with, bro, like ain't nobody worried about the little 2 bands, bro. Like you go ahead have
Mm.
that, bro. You ain't gotta keep hiding from your own city over a
Yeah.
little 2 bands, bro. You know what I mean? You know, handle your business, be with your family, bro. You know, we new creations in Christ, bro. You know what I mean? You know, he paid for it all anyway, brother. So yeah, if you see this, bro,
So
we square.
so fast forward. So you get done wrong. You're getting done wrong at these jobs. I mean, empty promises, right? School promise you something, you come home, telling the lady about it, everything's good, and then boom, all this stuff just starts coming down, right? And then you spoke on getting evicted, right? Like next thing you know, you're getting evicted out of this home that you done drove and patched up a tire and all this stuff to get here, and then what 30, 60 days go by and now you're getting an eviction notice. Did you know that the eviction was coming? Did anybody know that, or was that just family taking and
Bro,
running off with the bread too?
bro, this was biblical. I'm talking about you. This how you know this was some biblical timing, bro. Like only God could put something like this together. Because I feel like God considers it disrespect when you sit at tables he didn't put there for you. God's
Hmm.
like, do you know who I called you to be? It's like in that moment, I was like, do you know who I am? Do I know who I am? And God looking at me like, do you know who I called you to be? This is disgusting. Like you're working 8 hours for free. You're working 16 hours for free. Are you serious? And I'm like, I, I'm figuring it out. And once again, I'm figuring it out. And God's
Hmm.
like, bro, you told me if I let you go, you was gonna let me do it.
Mm-hmm.
You told me out of your mouth, if I let you
Yeah.
go, you was gonna let me do it. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure it out right now. I gotta put this together for my family. I gotta. And
Yeah.
so I get I go back home after my third night of working for free in a row.
That's crazy.
And and I'm just like, I can't, this is not respectable. I don't respect myself for doing this. Like this is disrespect to myself. And so I go home after my third night in a row, and I'm like sitting outside, I'm walking around, and I go to the park up the street from the house. I don't even go in the door because I don't have nothing. I don't know what we about to do again, and I'm like
Mm-hmm.
upset. I'm upset with myself. I'm upset with my circumstance, and I don't want to go home and face my family.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and so I remember it's bright and early, man. It's bright and super early. I think it was like sometime in the afternoon when I had finally like came back, like 10 a.m., 11 a.m., headed up into like the earlier parts of the afternoon, and I see two police at my door, and my instinct was, all right, I gotta flee. Like my
You gotta
immediate
run.
instinct was, I'm not going to jail. Like I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going back to jail. I didn't do nothing, bro. They not about to hit me with no spaghetti method charges. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, nah, bro, my family in there. If they decide they want to kick the door in, like my kids in there, my baby mom in there, like I gotta go handle this. And so I walk up to the officers. I'm like, yeah, how can I help y'all? They're like, um, are you the resident? And they asked me my cousin's name. They're like, are you such and such? But it's a girl's name, so they just asking me as a formality. I'm like, bro, I'm not her. Like, like, that's not my name, and I'm not gonna say their name. But they're like, all right, well, we got a notice to vacate. And so, what ended up happening was, ever since I had originally paid her 3 months ago, I originally paid her $800. I paid her $800 on the first of every month, and including that most recent month, I had paid her $800. She was pocketing the money.
Mm-hmm.
She was pocketing it. Each set of 800, she was just putting in her pocket. And so within that first 30 days, an eviction notice got processed. I'm pretty sure an eviction notice was already in the work, which is why she just moved out anyway. Um, After that initial 30 days, another 30 days went by, a failure to appear. Um, they was going through the court proceedings, so the 30-day evictions had expired. She had failed to appear to appeal it, and then a notice to vacate got issued. And then I just so happened to catch them once the notice to vacate actually got approved of. I had just so happened to catch them before they unlocked the door. They're like, "Man, we got the keys. We about to open this door and clear the unit out. We
Mm-hmm.
are, we got the keys, bro. Like, we're not here to ask y'all to leave. Like, this is a notice to vacate the premises." And I'm just like, bro, this has to be a mistake. He showed me the paperwork, and it was indeed not a mistake. It was all real. So I go. I already didn't want to face them. Like, I already didn't want to face them because I'm like, I don't got no money. I don't know how I'm about to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Now I gotta walk upstairs and be like, okay, everybody, I know y'all sleep, but we have to get up and leave right now. And so we packed the bedroom up, we packed the toys up, we packed the baby bed up, and put everything inside of the trailer. You gotta think, bro, I moved out of my mom's house when I was 16 years old, and I left to the military when I was 17 years old. So I'm at the end of my rope. And I know my mom loved me. I'm just a man. So I'm like, I ain't about to
Yeah.
live.
Pride.
I'm not gonna live under mom's roof. Like, I want to walk
Mm-hmm.
around doing a Ball Johnson dance. I can't do that in mom's crib. So I'm like, you feel- I'm like, man, I'm not going back. And it's like, after all that, bro, I felt like I got my feet whooped. My whole identity. I was just like, I know what I can do to get out of my situation, but I got time on the shelf. See, when they release you with time on the shelf, that means if you get charged with anything, not only do you got to go and confront that charge, but you also got to go face that time they had waiting for you. So I
Mm-hmm.
knew that if I involved myself in anything, it was a minimum of 4 years with a potential of 15 waiting for me. waiting
Mm.
for me to just
Mm.
serve whatever time Ohio had for me, for them to extradite me to California to go serve whatever time they got for me. And I'm just like itching. I'm itching for an excuse. Like the call of my old way of getting it is just hitting me constantly. And I'm
Mm.
just like, I felt like I was in the middle of the ocean, bro. Everything that was behind me was gone. I had no path to everything that was behind me, and I had no idea what was in front of me. So I was just in the middle of the ocean, and I was pulling up to mom's house with a woman and two kids. Like,
Hey, shout out to moms though.
shout out to Ma Dukes
Hey,
though. Like she held
shout
it.
out to moms though. I mean, cause
She held it
bro,
down.
it's one thing, bro. Like you gotta be blessed to still have parents. You know what I mean? That will take you in. You know what I mean? At any age, at any by any cost. You know what I mean? Like it's a blessing to have Mom Dukes. So Mom Dukes takes you in, and then what happened? Because it seemed like you lived out of your van for a while, or was that like in transition? Was that in like the in between period of you going from being kicked out to mom's, or like when did living in the van and van becoming the life, when did that take off?
So it happened right after mom's passed. So mom's welcomed me with open arms, and this is no slight to my family. You know, I love my family. They all uplift me. We a solid family. We a familial unit.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you gotta think, man. My closest sibling is 5 years younger than me.
Mm.
So everything that I left behind, I left them with.
Mm.
Everything that moms was struggling with mentally, everything, boyfriends, anything, you could think of that could happen in our household at that time period that they was going through, you know, everything that I left behind, I left them with. And that's how they kind of viewed it. And so it's like I was supposed to leave to make something of myself.
Mm. Mm.
I was supposed to go out there and help them, create something for our family so that we could have something. And I spent my whole time drunk, high, blowing money in prison and ended back up at mom's house anyway. So to them who was looking at me to accomplish something, they was just like, is this what you did it all for to end up back here with us?
Mm.
And And so mom welcomed me with open arms, and they loved that the babies was there, but me they held to a higher standard that I appreciate. I appreciate that my sisters hold me to such a high standard because they didn't have their father either. And I didn't have my dad, they didn't have their dad, so like I was like the masculine presence in their life, and,
Mm-hmm.
and so I always held that sacred. I always held that sacred. I always wanted to protect my sisters. I always wanted to provide for my family. That was really sacred to me, and I had to
Mm-hmm.
go out into that world to figure out what a man was to me. And then I knew that I had let that like who I was in their mind,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't matching, who I was in that moment. And when that misalignment came about, you could feel it. And I remember one night I had cleared up my mom's garage so that my family could live in it because there was like everybody else was still living at home, so there was really no space for us to even be there. So we
Mm.
living in the garage. And I remember one time my son is crying. And he ain't slept by himself because you gotta think like we've been in the truck,
Mm.
we've been in the apartment, we was in a single bedroom in California. He's never slept by himself. He always slept with either me or his mom. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to show him how to sleep by himself so he don't get stuck with that let me sleep with y'all type of
Right.
mentality. And I remember one time like he crying and like, yeah, shouts out to our women. You know what I mean? Shouts out to our women. But they nature started kicking in. They hearing them cry, and then I go in there being dad, like don't touch him, like let him cry, let him self soothe. He got to figure this out on his own. And I remember one of them was just like, if you was a real man, you would have a place for your family to live.
Mm.
And I was just like, it just threw me because
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, you don't even know what I'm up against right now.
Right.
You got no clue what I'm up against right
Right.
now. And so I was just like, I'm not gonna be able to create nothing sustainable in this environment. So I ended up moving out and moving into my truck. And it was a choice based in my pride. You know what I mean? I didn't want to take that, and I didn't want to be viewed that way. And I didn't want to build anything lasting in that space. So I moved into the truck, and it wasn't the first time I had lived in my truck. You know what I mean? Prior to even going to prison, I was on like coastal tours, so I was moving up and down, the coast. So I had already known how to live out of my truck, but I didn't think I was going to end up back in there. And so I moved back into the truck, and I remember I parked it far enough to where nobody would notice me sleeping in the truck, but close enough to where I could just go see my kids. And so and so um, I ended up parking in a Home Depot parking lot after like like a week of just living in there. I like parked in like a Home Depot parking lot, and I was just sitting there, and I was just like, I don't got no money, I don't got no job, and I got no clear path forward
Mm-hmm.
in this moment. And it was in that moment where I was like, oh, this is dependency.
Mm-hmm.
This is this is 60
Mm-hmm.
days in federal prison. This is another cage that I've built for myself.
That's
And
crazy.
I was like, this is letting you do it. And so I was like, okay, well, you the leader. Lead us to some breakfast then. And I
Right.
was salty.
Yeah, lead me to a Waffle House with some grits. You know what I'm saying?
I, I was salty, bro. I was salty. So I was like, God, like, this is not how this is supposed to look, man.
Mm-hmm.
This is not what this is supposed to be. I didn't know what it was supposed to be, but I knew that it wasn't this. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, man, it's getting cold. Like, I don't have a place for my family to go. Like, nobody is approving of the man that I've become. Like, I've disappointed
Mm-hmm.
everyone. My kids don't even know that I let them down,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt like helpless, bro. I felt like a little baby, and that was a problem because I had little babies. So I'm like, you can't be the little baby. Somebody got to be grown in this situation.
Right. 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 Right.
And so I was just like, but I don't know what to do. And I was like, you got me in a position of helplessness. And he was like, now you're going to do exactly what I say.
Mm.
And so,
I want to
but
run
yeah,
that back real fast. I would love to run back those two videos, man, showing the van that you moved into, man, because I think it's pivotal to show our new viewers and people that are watching that might have tuned in late, kind of what that story is about. So I'm gonna go ahead and pivot to that.
Got me from
yeah, man.
California to the A to the O. I put a plastic bag and some cardboard right over this window to kind of like muffle the sound so that I could like dampen my studio. So I could, soundproof my booth. I mean, this was the kitchen, the house, and the booth. Even though it was a bad situation, you still gotta find beauty in it, bro. So I would park at like beaches. I would park at like, in mountain areas, ranges, bro. Go to the store early as soon as it opened, go grab a chicken breast, some eggs, and make breakfast right here in the trunk while I was on my way. How I eventually even became homeless is because I was supposed to move into my cousin's house, and I was paying her money to move in and sublease her apartment because I just got done fighting this case. I remember one day I came home from work and the police was at the door, and they like, we got an order to vacate the premises. Not you got 3 days to get out or you got 30 days to get out. The eviction was already processed and approved. Me and Mines get back in the truck and head to Mom's house, and I ain't seen Mom's in like no job, no place to go. And once again, I was calling God like AAA. Like, my tire flat. My tire's flat again, and I don't know how to fix it. And so I was just in there I was in my truck and I was crying because I knew what I could do to get out of my situation, but it felt like going back to what I knew and risking not being with my kids would have compromised all of the growth that I had accomplished in between letting that go and being where I'm at. And so I was like, God, if I'm not gonna go back, you gotta make a way. So I was crying, I reached out, and I was like, God, just please help me. If there's any way forward in this situation, please just help me.
Bro, it's powerful, bro. I think all the ups and downs, bro, and the trials and tribulations you had to face, man. And obviously you could tell, bro, it's still emotionally heavy on you. You know what I mean? Just seeing how God has really worked in your life and really transpired and even to where you're at now. I mean, like you said at the beginning, bro, you sitting on a comfy plush couch, you know what I'm saying?
You
Got the
said,
brown couch, you got the paintings behind him, you know what I mean? Talk about
oh yeah,
briefly, just
this is
talk
not
about
this is not AI.
it's not AI, man. Briefly talk about just how did that moment and those moments in that van, because you really really hone in on it. I mean, you talk about how you put the tape up, how you put the sound up, the sound down, damping, like it was home, cooking eggs and stuff in the trunk, you know what I mean? How do those moments, when you look at your life now and you have a kitchen, you have a bathroom, you have a bedroom and a bed for your kids to sleep in, how did those moments, like what is the appreciation and the gratitude from having those moments?
Man, oh my God, bro. The pastor, shouts out New Birth, by the way. We got some real pastors in there, some
Man,
real men of
shout
God
out
in
New
there.
Birth, man.
Shout out New Birth. Because one thing that they talk about, especially Pastor Mackey, one thing that he says often, he was like, when I think of what God does for me or did for me, I just can't help. It's like fire shot up in my bones, and I can't help but just give God a crazy praise. And when I'm in the church with my kids,
Mm-hmm.
that's the moment that I look back on. Those are the moments. I'd be like, man, we drove from home. We drove
Mm.
from home.
Mm-hmm.
We drove from my home, from our home to church today. And I was in federal prison. I was in a hole in the ground and nobody knew I was there. I was sleeping in my truck
Mm.
with no way out of that situation, asking God to help me, and He did. So those
Mm.
moments shaped my worship, bro.
Mm.
Like those moments shape that kind of worship that like people look at me and be like, why is he on the floor? Like,
Yeah.
what is he
Right.
doing
Right.
on
Right.
the ground? Why is he
Yeah.
why is he crying? And I'm just like, man, I'm
Yeah.
gonna get these tears out because it was a time in my life I couldn't even cry tears. Like I was so shallow in nature that like emotions like that wouldn't even compute in my brain. Like
Mm.
crying, like what you talking about? Like I used to be one of those people, bro, and it's just like I didn't have tears. So it's like if you ever see me shouting or praising or worshiping or you see my face full of tears, just know I'm not grieving.
Mm.
Just know I am not grieving, brother. This is sheer appreciation and gratitude for what God brought me through. I don't know what He did for you,
Come on. Come on. Come on.
but I know when I look back on what He did for me, I just can't help myself, bro.
Mm.
I mean, it just hits me that deep, bro. It just
Mm.
hits me that deep. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's emotionally heavy on me. I'm gonna say that I got more emotional bandwidth since He liberated me, since He vindicated me.
Come
Since
on.
He rectified me, bro, I got more emotional bandwidth. These aren't tears of grief. This is every time I see that or see that moment or look back on it, bro. I'm
Mm-hmm.
overwhelmed with appreciation because not only do y'all see what He brought me out of, y'all
Mm.
don't know how little I deserved it.
Mm.
Y'all have no idea how bad it was, and it didn't matter. I always look at this like, you would do this for me? for 20 years of my life, I didn't do anything for
crazy.
you. You would
God
do
is
this
good.
for me?
Mm.
You would, for what? Because you love me? Because I'm yours? That's it? That's your nature? How dare you? The gumption. Like,
Right,
the
right.
prof- the audacity. I was just,
Bro.
and it's like, of course, bro. Like, of course, bro. When I look back on those moments, they shape my worship. They shape my gratitude. They allow me to experience that deep well of emotion. And when people say, "Oh, you talk different," oh, yeah, man. Like some men of God will walk up to me and be like, "Man, I want so badly for that connection with God that you have." And I'm like, "Man,
Mm.
we all gotta walk our own race,
Yeah.
but you don't know what this costs, bro."
Yeah. 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 Talk that. You know,
Because
you don't
he was
know. You
always
don't
doing it for
know.
you.
Yeah.
He
That's
always did it for you, bro. When that bullet flew over your head and didn't hit you,
yeah.
if you can't cry at that, you don't know what it was worth yet.
Mm.
Because it could have been you. It could have easily been you. But God had his favor on your life, and you just don't see the value in that situation yet. God hasn't opened your eyes to the value of what your life means to him yet.
Mm.
See, when I did God dirty for so many years, he put me in a hole in the ground to all I could see is him and me. When he put me in that truck by myself to where all I could see was him and me, he allowed me to see that his hands was on my life and in that situation to where it was undeniable. You can call a bullet hitting the car and not hitting you luck. But when I
Mm.
lost that job, when I lost both
Come
of them
on.
in the same day
Come
in my
on.
house on the third day, that was
Mm-hmm.
biblical.
Mm.
That couldn't have been anything but God
Mm.
who orchestrated, facilitated that, and put that together for me. Some of the blessings that I've received, some of the trials that I've received, couldn't have been anything but God. And just to
Mm.
think that, like, I'm worthy of his kingdom, that everything that was meant to destroy me and everything that I destroyed, God would use for something constructive, and even to go as far as use it to build his kingdom, man, of course I'm crying.
Mm. Mm. Come on.
Of course. Of course I'm crying, bro. Mm.
That's bro. God is
So
good,
yeah, I would
bro.
say, yeah, bro, all the time. All the time.
Bro, God is good,
God is
man.
good.
I think the way that He has shown up in your life is a complete testimony, bro. I feel like if you're watching this and you're hearing this, I mean, you got to be able to hear the man's heart, bro. You got to be able to not only hear the heart but see how God has taken somebody that even when in those moments where we don't even feel like why me, right? Like why am I being chose? Why are you choosing me? Because like Jesus, he's choosing you, right? Like that's like he chose your life to be a living example, man. And all of us got different walks. We all got different paths. But man, you know, God is good, man. God, I mean, I feel like there's no much more to say, bro. How good God is, man. And we all
If
have
I
our
had
own
10,000
testimonies.
tongues.
If you had 10,000 tongues, now earlier we're gonna pivot. Um, earlier you sent me a song, and my boy is not only just talking about the testimony, but you putting out the music. And so I got a clip. My man going in the studio. Shout out ISO Dope Beats. He made the beat.
ISO!
Every time y'all hear the Director's Den beat, that is an ISO Dope beat. He is fire at what he does, man. We're gonna go ahead and share this moment, and then we're gonna get to talking about the album and close out here.
For you, it's just something that's here. But I get to be like I call myself a translator sometimes because you tell me ideas, I put it in here and translate to the computer. Vice versa, something happens here, translate it to you, and then make it work, man. We build something together.
That's hard. That's hard.
Yeah.
You gotta bring vision into
Yes,
reality.
That's right.
Like together music. I love that, bro. I love that.
Repping Pretty Colors means there's so many different variations of you. they're all vibrant and all represent who you are, and you're not just one thing, you're a multitude of many different things. So.
Yeah, bro. Look, God wrapped me in pretty colors now. Even the dreams look different.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, big dog. You ready to get to work?
Let's go. We're working. Let's go. You ready? So, here we go.
Hey, hey, hey.
A lot of times, musicians have developed a business plan where they speak depression to depressed people. This song is meant to give people who are in situations that aren't the best an opportunity to speak life into their situation and God over it, rather than more of the same.
You help me with this walk. Placing fully weapons made me heavy on that block. I told my brother to stay covered, though his vest it didn't help when he got shot above his neck and couldn't talk. But I'm gonna speak for him. Open up your arms, give me words so I can reach more. Let it be a sermon every time they put a beat on. God, 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 I know they want me dead, but you helped me build my house upon a rock. My father is my shelter. My father
one
is
more
the
time,
lamp
but I like
upon
the
my
whole
head.
outro.
Yep.
Let me just hit it one more time to make sure it's
Yo, album on the way, wrapped in pretty colors, EP.
Come on.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and do the honors, man. Talk about the drop date. Talk about the album. Talk about what should we expect from this body of work.
Come on, man. So look, I'm gonna tell y'all to be honest, bro. I never even planned to drop an album, bro. Like while I was going through this whole transformative period, you gotta think, bro. I was so used to communicating the reality of the things, and I was just communicating what I was going through. And even though it helped people give a voice to what they were going through, it wasn't really communicated from a perspective of having a way out. It was just empowering people through those situations. So I was really limited in the way that I was making music. And I had no plans of making music anymore because I noticed I'm cussing in all my songs, and that's not what a good, you know what I mean, believer in Christ do, or I'm talking about this and that, and that's not what a good believer in Christ do. I'm just like, man, God, I don't know how to make songs for you. Like I don't know how to make songs for you, God. And he was like anything else that you've done of value, bro, you gotta let me do it. So I stopped writing for the longest time, bro. Stopped writing for
Yeah.
the longest time. And then I remember one day I just felt like this this uh this desire to produce a creative work that kind of like encapsulated what I was going through, but not what I was going through, but what God was doing for me in those moments. And I wanted to try to explain it to somebody. Like I wanted somebody to like understand it, like not so that they could like see me, but so that they could see God and what God could do for them. And so wrapped in pretty colors is basically going through everything that we just talked about, all of the gray, all of the death, all of the destruction, everything that I, put myself through, subjected myself through, and how God took everything that was meant for my destruction and gave me beauty for ashes and wrapped me finer than the lilies. You know what I mean? When I think about the album wrapped in pretty colors, it's like I just think how much more will he love you? How much more will he love you? And so I'm just looking back on my situation like I didn't deserve any of this, and God chose to wrap me in pretty colors. He picked me. I didn't even want to be picked, bro. I looked at everybody in the church. Everybody had this walk. You know what I mean? Everybody had this talk. Everybody was churched. Everybody, never nobody had ever been to war. Nobody had ever been to prison. Nobody had ever sold drugs. Nobody ever done drugs. Everybody was perfect, and you know what I mean. I'm just like, oh yeah, man, I don't want to go in front of nobody. Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
be on nobody's stage. I don't want to be on nobody's microphone. To know that you love me is enough for me. That's all that I need. And God was like, "No, I'm gonna call you to a little bit more than that, my brother. This was not for no reason. And here soon you're gonna see that it was good that you were afflicted." And so I was like, God, I can't write no more music. I don't know how to write songs no more. And so I took a break from writing music. And I remember one day God was like, I want you to write this song. And I remember like it took me maybe a month to write the whole project, but each one of the songs on the projects kind of encompasses the transformational periods that I went through during the developmental process in my walk. So that's going to drop on February 1st, wrapped in pretty colors. God grew a garden in my mind. You know, everything that all the mud that they try to put on my name served as a soil for me to grow up out of. And we're going to tell the story of my testimony and God's transformative nature in that project, dropping on the 1st this Sunday.
Wrapped in pretty colors, man. I love the album work, bro. Like, this looks like something like when I look at you and then I see the album color, it takes for me to understand the story for it to make sense. The album color is really, really well done. I mean, really, really, really well done. I'm super excited about this project. I mean, this was the song you sent me earlier, dog. I've already been like just going crazy about, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what? Like, hold up, bro. I have to have the album now. You know what I mean? And so, man, if y'all see this album out, wrapped in pretty colors, it is a fire. I believe it's fire. What should we expect, and what do you want the impact to be from the album as we close?
So look, man, we got a 4-song album that's coming out. Each part of the each song on that album represents a different part of the transformative process that God took me through, man. What I want to see from people who listen to this album is to experience connection with the story, man, and empowerment through music. I used to make music that would help give people words for their circumstance. Hopefully, this offers people an opportunity to see their way out and their method of freedom and liberation in Jesus Christ. You know, I hope that, you know, God touches them through the music. God opens their mind, removes the scales from their eyes through this music and in life. I hope that everybody who listens to the album has an experience with Jesus Christ and his transformative powers to take all of our bad and turn it around for our good, and how he can give beauty for ashes. And I hope everybody who listens to this album is edifying towards the listener, and they get the opportunity to get wrapped in pretty colors, take their grave clothes off and put their kingdom robes on. That's kind of what I'm hoping for the album. I'm hoping that, we share the love and the gospel of Jesus Christ through this project all across Ohio, all across America, and I want God to take the whole globe back with this one.
Hey man, wrapped in pretty colors, and it drops when?
February 1st. Mark it on your calendar.
Here first. You heard it here first. Hey, I may have to go back and insert some Soulja Boy first. I was first. Hey, shout out Wrapped in Pretty Colors, man. Comes out February 1st, man. I'm excited. I'm excited about the album. I'm excited to hear how you have been able to take your story and transform it into music, into art. And looking at the background, you can definitely tell he's a very artistic guy, man. Likes nice art, man. We're gonna go ahead and just give him one little sample of this green light. And we're gonna wrap it up from there, man.
If I can't bring Jesus with me, I don't feel
any last words? And we'll say the last words for after this, man, because the intro is cold.
If I can't bring Jesus with me, I don't bring light.
Ryan, what took you so long?
Hey, rockin' pretty colors like a peacock with the most high like a knee sock. Being stepping like a Reebok with that blicky on me. I don't need cock. Jesus in the storm, watch me see walk. Sanctify me, turn the heat up. Let me talk to him, cut the beat off. Fall back, let the G shine. Angels with me, that's the D-line. Got the devil scared, put them behind me. Jesus' name buzz like a beehive. Sick of my old self, don't rewind me. Can't fall back, no rewind. In this warfare, put your hands up with no peace signs. Squad jumping like it's tea time, but it's go time. Bible with me with the green light. If I can't bring Jesus with me, I don't feel right. Godly wisdom, that's a gold mine. My Holy Spirit, my cosigner is paid for. I'm a living witness to my advocate, so my case closed. Eyes on God with my shades low. I see him different, no shade though. I just love him more, so he pulled me out of that fuego. Got me spitting that fuego, popping on the wicked like Fago. And I don't gotta up it, I just point him out to my Holy Spirit like there you go. Back to bondage, I can't go. Christ spoke in them chains, bro. Like all of God say so. Clean him up. Christ on us all faith though. Beat him up. Hands dirty, my heart cold, and I needed blood. Now I'm in communion with the Lamb of God, and we keep in touch like green light. Green light.
Green
If I
light.
can't bring Jesus with me, I don't feel right. Green light. Green light. If I can't bring Jesus with me, I don't feel right.
Yo, green light, dog. Hey, that song is fire. I'm definitely gonna be bumping that. Hey, Luke, man, it's been a pleasure, bro, just listening to your story, man. I'm blessed that you came on the platform. I know that when people come across this interview, bro, they're gonna be able to be in touch with the genuineness that comes off in your story, and then people are anticipating this album, man. So, any last words, man, you got for the viewers? Any children out there? What could you say to them to pour into the community?
Man, first of all, I just want to thank you, Eddie, Cultured for the People. Jackson, I want to appreciate you welcoming me onto your podcast,
I
bro.
might have
It's
to
been an
coin
amazing
that, man. I
experience.
might have to coin that. Eddie Culture for the
Yeah.
People, Jackson.
You know what I'm saying, bro? I appreciate you opening up a platform for creative artists and people in the community to be able to come up on here, tell their story, man, especially through a Christ-centered perspective, bro. I just want to thank you personally for creating such a warm environment for me to be able to tell my story in. So huge shout out to you, brother. Huge shout out to you, brother. Support your local artists. You know what I mean, make sure you support all of your local artists, man. We got our own gifts that God chose to steward our steward. So steward your gifts well, kids. You got more than what your circumstances are to do here on this earth. You're important to God. You're important to the kingdom. You're important to each one of the members in your community. So live to the fullness of your gift and steward your gift well. Be sensitive to the Holy Spirit moving in your life and follow your convictions, man. If you feel it in your spirit, go ahead and express yourself. Let the Holy Spirit move through you so that the entire world can feel Christ's love moving on it through you and the people that you touch.
Y'all heard it here first, man. Luke DaDawn, we appreciate having you on the Director's Den, man. Make sure y'all go follow Luke DaDawn at Luke DaDawn on all platforms, man. Make sure you go follow and find Wrapped in Pretty Colors, man, dropping February 1st. And then on top of that, if you want to meet the man, the myth, the legend, have an in-person conversation with him, I think it's safe to say, man, they can meet you at New Birth. They can come up, pull
Come
up to the
to
church.
New Birth.
Come to New Birth.
I
Know what
will
I'm saying?
be in the building.
75 Refugee Road, man. It was a pleasure having you on the show, dog. I'm looking forward to doing even more interviews with you, man, and just diving into. I think that there's still so much more untouched value, man, that we could probably extract from your story. But for today, man, we're gonna go ahead and call it a wraps, man. We appreciate you, big dog, and thanks again, man, for jumping on the Director's Den podcast, baby, off the couch.
So love. God bless you, brother. Thank you.
Hey, man, that's my boy Luke DaDawn, man. This was an amazing interview, man. I'm truly impressed with just first and foremost God and just how God works in our lives, man. I'm sure he probably at some point in time being incarcerated and being behind bars, bro, didn't see his life this far ahead, and seeing how God is now utilizing those same things that held him down to now pick others up and be able to be the light, man. So listen, guys, if you guys want to be on the podcast, please DM us. Please follow us. Stay tapped in. All it takes is a DM, man. I love to hear a powerful story. If God has done something amazing in your life, man, and you believe that you have, it brings substance to the community, we want to be able to give you a platform to use your voice. And so that's what this is, man. Follow the Director's Den podcast on all social media channels. I give out daily gems, man. We got the Chop Shop as well with my boy Cleo, Mike Chalk, and AJ Young, man. Everything's about to be coming through this viral platform. I hope you guys really enjoyed today's show and today's segment. And like I said, man, please go follow, like, and subscribe, man. And we love you guys, man. And on that note, we out. Love y'all. I hope y'all have a great week, man, and we'll tap in with the next interview. Take care. Yeah, alright, so that's it right there.